Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig. I am your host, Craig DeLuz, here with the Firearms Policy Coalition, talking to you about politics, culture, firearms, everything Second Amendment related. You name it, we're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. Please take a moment to like and share this video feed so that your friends can join in the conversation. Those of you who are listening via podcast, share this podcast. We have 9 different ways in which you can listen to us via podcast. If you want to know which ones, if you're watching via the video or even if you're looking on your link, if you look in the description, there's a link to anchor.fm. Just click that link and it'll show you all the different ways in which you can listen to Coffee with Craig. Also, please remember to go to fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. There we have coffee mugs, we have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have all sorts of things in order to help you promote your support of the Second Amendment, but actually actively support the Second Amendment, because know that every dollar that you spend there goes right back into the fight for our right to keep and bear arms. That's fpcgear.com. Support the Second Amendment and look good doing it. Once again, fpcgear.com. Now let's talk about the Second Amendment. There are many who like to quote studies. We all know that those on the anti-gun side like to talk studies and statistics, even though for some reason they want you to believe that there are no studies or statistics out there. But they want you to believe that there are studies and statistics that support them having the government take away your right to keep and bear arms. One of them, no more prevalent than the idea or the concept that AR-style firearms, or as they like to call them, assault-style rifles. We don't call them that. They call them that. And that's pertinent for what's leading into our story, but they want you to believe that these firearms are commonly used in active shooter situations or in mass shootings. And it's something that is just simply perpetuated time and time and time and time again, almost becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy as people see, oh, AR-15s being used, then they go out, then there are individuals who go out and purchase an AR-15 when they decide that this is something that they're going to do. But that's a whole different story. But in this particular case, here's a kind of a piece that USA Today put together talking about the AR-15 and and why it is dangerous. Not just that it's used commonly, but why it's dangerous. Check this piece out real quick, and we'll talk on the flip side. So here you see they're talking about Aurora, Newtown, San Bernardino. What do all of these things have in common? Orlando, what do they all have in common? Las Vegas, what do they have in common? Oh, can't forget Sutherland Springs and Parkland. What do they all have in common? They all used AR-15 style, quote-unquote, assault rifles. Now they want to look at the fact that Americans own a bunch of these as bad and evil. The fact that they are simply owned, well, that in and of itself makes them bad. The fact that they're popular, once again, simply makes them bad because they're popular. And then they talk about why they are popular. Now, I don't know that this has any effect on the reason why people use them, but the fact is these are all selling points to the AR-15. And obviously, they have to look at, the AR, they have to look at the NRA and badmouth the NRA. And then here you have the Brady campaign, once again, perpetuating lies about this particular firearm, that it is more high capacity than any other firearm, that it is easier, that it's not easier, but that it is more accurate and more deadly and fires more deadly rounds than any other style of firearm. As we all know, all of this stuff right here is all, once again, while it is all accurate about the AR-15, it is not necessarily accurate in general, right? And forgive me for giving the commentary over that, but every time I watch that, I feel like I have to say something, because the stuff and the information that is there, once again, a lot of it is accurate in terms of why people like the AR-15, but it's not accurate in that I don't know that that's the reason why they're used. And the interesting thing is what we found from a recent study is that they are in fact not used very often. That's something that not a lot of people want to tell you, is that the AR-15 is not, or at least what they call assault-style firearms are not, in fact, commonly used in active shooter situations. There was a study that recently came out, and it was actually reported on Bloomberg, of all places, Bloomberg. And here, let me flip over to that real quick. Let me flip over to it. Let's check it out real quick. So here you see, here on Bloomberg, which is kind of odd, they note that assault rifles aren't the weapon of choice for active shooters. This is a new study, actually just came out September 11th, so this is relatively new. Now, this is a study, and what's interesting about this one is that it's actually a study by the Journal of the American Medical Association. Now, this is another entity that we all know is not pro-gun, does not support the Second Amendment at all whatsoever. So it's interesting that this study by them is out there. Now, a couple of things that they noted in this particular study was that what they did was they went and looked at shootings. They went and looked at active shooter situations that had occurred, and they noted that 25% of those incidents in the U.S. from 2000 to 2017, guess what? They did not include, 25% included, or were in 25% of the cases, a semi-automatic rifle was used. 25%. Now, what does that mean? That means that other firearms, revolvers, shotguns, are used, or semi-automatic handguns were used 3 times more than these assault-style rifles that they keep going after and keep saying that they want to ban. I mean, think about it. Now, overall, long guns as a whole, and once again, FBI statistics show that long guns as a whole are used in less than 3% of all crime. Long guns as a whole, including semi-automatic rifles, but also including shotguns and bolt-action rifles. So all long guns total less than 3%. So you know that semi-automatic AR-15 style rifles are an even smaller percentage than that. So that's in crime in general. In these active shooter situations, it's still less than 25% of the time. In fact, what they found is not only did people prefer other firearms, rather than dealing with firearms where it was easy to change the magazine, active shooters chose multiple firearms. That's another thing. Another thing that is commonly known, or at least other studies have shown, but no one really talks about. So this whole, we need to get rid of firearms with detachable magazines is a farce, because they're not using detachable magazines. What they're choosing instead to do is to use a different firearm. So now, mind you, the interesting thing about this is they would have you believe, and the whole point is that I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, why would they say this? Why would they point this out, Craig? I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. Seeing as how they are so anti-gun, why would they turn around and point out this very important fact? Well, it has to do with kind of the direction that I believe they want the article to go, and the article they want the direction they want the article to go is this, and I'll read another section of it here to you. Further down in the article, one of the things that they note is they say it's a very simple study, said Dr. Adil Haider, the lead author. What it shows is that if you have an active shooter incident, if the person has a semi-automatic, they are able to shoot twice as many people, and hence twice as many people end up dying. Well, that's not what the study said at all. That is his summation of it. But what it really points to is that even further down is that what they're saying is that because they're choosing other firearms, this has to do with the broader discussion about firearms in general. See, what they're realizing is that they're starting to get, they believe at least, they're starting to get traction on the whole ban semi-automatics. And the reason why they want to they keep saying ban semi-automatics is because they don't just want to get semi-automatic rifles. They don't just want to get AR-15 or AK style rifles. They also want to go after semi-automatic handguns, right? They want to get all semi-automatics, right? They want to go after basically the largest percentage of firearms. If they can ban semi-automatic long guns and semi-automatic handguns, they're going to wind up banning the majority of firearms in this country. So it's a broader scheme. So they're revealing this to say it's not just an assault weapon issue, it's a gun issue. And if it's a semi-automatic gun issue, so if we can get rid of all semi-automatics, well, then we've done what it is that we've set out to do, which is basically ban most firearms in the country. In any case, it is a very interesting article. I encourage you to read it. If you look, there should be a link in the description to this video, to the article. Encourage you guys to check it out. Once again, I found it interesting that Bloomberg actually printed it. I found it interesting that the AMA actually published it. But once again, when you look past kind of the obvious, you kind of realize that their goals are less than honorable, shall we say. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember to like and share this program so that your friends can join in the conversation. I'm Craig DeLuz with the Farms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.